Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Two for Talking podcast. I'm your host, Corey Tusick. We've got comedian Joe Bartnick. You can check him out. His latest show is going to be this Thursday, October 30th at the Improv. Go to improv.com, search for Pittsburgh. You will find it. Joe will have a bunch of local great comics there with him. And then also we have got Josh Yohe with The Athletic alongside, as always. And guys, we have 3 professional sports teams in this town. One of which doesn't try to win. The second of which pretends they try to win. And then we have the Penguins. And the Penguins look pretty good, don't they, boys?
Josh, I've been nothing but completely flabbergastedly surprised and happy. What do you say about the Penguins?
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're 7-2-1. Through 10 games, they have the 3rd most points in the NHL. They have the 3rd best goal differential. They've scored more goals than any other team. I don't know that it's sustainable. I don't think that level of play is sustainable, but I do think it's fair to say at this point, the Penguins are a lot better than we thought they were. I mean, I think we're obviously trending in that direction. And to see Crosby and Malkin play in the way they are right now, you know, Gino leads the NHL with 16 points. Sid's right behind with 14. They're putting on a show right now. And honestly, Joe, the last 3 games, if you look at the Florida game, the Columbus game, the St. Louis game, I don't think the Penguins played their best games. Dan Muse was kind of annoyed with, some of the things he saw last night. He thought they were sloppy, and I kind of agree. And they still went 2-0-1. Like that's pretty impressive what they're doing right now. They're one of the best stories in hockey, bar none.
Josh, I have 3 points now. You have so many great points. One is, it's along the lines of your great question to Mr. Muse last night when he said, I agree with you. I thought the last 2 games have kind of crept in, that they kind of almost look like the last year's Penguins. But on that note, we said, hey, we think their forwards are playoff caliber. The goaltending and defense right now, definitely the goaltending looks playoff caliber right now. And I think the 2 biggest takeaways from this weekend, if you consider the long weekend Monday game, was last year, they don't come back and get those 2 goals and tie that game and get the loser point. And they don't last night come back after blowing that 2-goal lead and just smoke the Bluesers.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it. Actually, it's funny you say that, Joe. During the 3rd period last night, it's 4-3 Penguins. And I was thinking to myself, last season, they give up the game-tying goal. Like last season, this game goes to overtime. And for whatever reason, we've seen some mental toughness from Jari that hasn't been there in the past. He's been really good in clutch situations this season. And the Penguins aren't, they were sloppy last night. There were some odd man rushes. You're going to see some of that, but they kind of held down the fort in their own zone, and then Sid put it away when he got stopped on the breakaway and then scored on the rebound. Vintage Sid goal. But no, this team does feel different. They're playing a more professional brand of hockey. And when you look at it, really, you mentioned the goaltending. It's absolutely better right now, okay? Shilov's, I think, is a clear upgrade over to Nedeljkovic in terms of physical talent. Jari's playing better. Kyle Dubas made a few under-the-radar moves this summer that are clearly making a difference. Parker Wotherspoon's pretty good. And I know some people around the league who really liked him when the Penguins signed him. Like, he wasn't a nobody, but sometimes certain guys in certain systems, like he and Carlson, they just work. They are really good together. Justin Brazeau slowed down a little bit the last couple of games, but obviously he's been a pleasant surprise. So you have a few players sprinkled in who are better. You have better goaltending. You have Crosby and Malkin who just look like they're on a mission right now, and you've got that injection of a new coach. So I don't think it's completely fluky what we're watching right now.
As Big Braz has slowed down, hey, Tony Mantha has kind of woken up even more. So that line is still grooving. And, I know a lot of people like Kindle up with Sid. I really like Hollander up with Sid. Kind of gives him a workman-like approach to let him and Rusty maybe dance a little more. Rusty has completely woken up, and I like having Kindle play center. I let Kindle get his cookies on the big boy power play, but let him play center, get his center reps in. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's his natural position. That's fine. I mean, we're all intrigued by the idea of seeing him, with Sid or Gino at some point, but I don't think there's any need to force that. Hollander is a guy who has really grown on me. Like when you first see him play, you're not really wowed by anything. He's not that fast. He doesn't have $1 million hands. But the more you watch him play, you appreciate. He just does the little things right. He's a simple hockey player, and Sid loves playing with guys like that. Did Chris Kunitz or Pascal Dupuis wow you with their hands? No. But they were always at the right spot at the right time. They played kind of a physical, abrasive game, and Hallander has some of that in him. So I think he's another guy. We talk about the kids, and understandably so, but he's another rookie, a kid who has really done positive things so far for this hockey team. So yeah, look at the roster and these guys we're talking about this year compared to last year. It's night and day. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're 7-2-1. And you mentioned Mantha, Joe. All he has to do is go to the net. Like every time he just gives Gino the puck and goes to the net, look what's happening. He's got it figured out.
I will defend my boy Cooney's hands, though. Cooney Cooney has some sweet mitts.
He did.
He wasn't Mike Bossy, but he wasn't duper.
That's fair.
And I thought the only piece of sadness this weekend, well, obviously Raquel is horrible news, but in a way, it kind of lets you look at Koivunen some more. That doesn't hurt. But I think Caleb Jones, and I'm shocked. I'm pleasantly surprised that Parker Weatherspoon's the number one defenseman. I'm shocked that Caleb Jones, after a shaky start, looked as good as he did. And I think that's a big loss, because I was high on Connor Clifton. I like how you said the most ineffective the defenseman twice.
Yeah, I tried. That's like the nicest word I could think of. Clifton really struggled against Florida, and then again against the Blue Jackets, in my opinion. Jones, listen, Caleb Jones isn't a great player. I didn't like him in training camp, really, but then he had a couple of games where he's really good. He can skate. That's the one thing about him. He can really fly. So that's a loss. He suffered the broken foot in Florida, so he's out for a while. And we should mention, though, guys, the Raquel injury. It is a big deal. Yes, you get to see more of the young kids, including Koivunen, so that's fun. And Owen Pickering just got recalled a couple of hours ago. We should mention that as well. But listen, Rickard Raquel's a 30-plus goal scorer. You don't just replace guys like that. He's almost to the point where I think we take him for granted he's going to put up his point per game. That's just who he is. So he's out until probably mid-December, I would guess. And it just sucks. It's a bad blow for the Penguins, and I do feel bad for him. I just talked with him a week ago about playing in Sweden in November. The Penguins had those 2 games against the Predators, and he was looking forward to playing in Stockholm, so the timing could not be more unfortunate for him.
Speaking of Swedes, what about Erik Karlsson in his performance? Because I really hope this isn't just an Olympic thing and he's trying to show off for the Olympics. I hope this is the Erik Karlsson we're getting all year. And frankly, like we talked about goaltending, we wanted Miroshov to be down, because if he was going to be in front of last year's Karlsson, that was going to be a problem.
I'm glad you brought up Erik Karlsson, Corey. We're talking about Sid and Gino and the show they're putting on right now. I thought Karlsson was the best player on the ice last night, Joe. I mean, he did make the one mistake on the goal, but you're going to live with that when you have 3 assists like he did. He was just a magician with the puck all night. He was doing like unbelievable old school Erik Karlsson things. And you could see it from the very first shift of the game, the play he made to Brian Rust on the first goal. Yeah. He was awesome. And he has 9 assists in 10 games. Like he's finally looking like the Karlsson they thought they were getting. I don't know why. Maybe it is because he wants to play in the Olympics. I don't even care if that's why. Like, fine, it's working. Maybe it's just a new coaching staff. Sometimes certain players click with certain coaches. I don't think he and Sully ever particularly saw eye to eye. Whatever the reason, Joe, Karlsson's really good right now.
He's playing excellent defense. Muse is even letting him penalty kill, and he's actually getting the puck out.
Yeah.
Not just standing there waving his stick around. But I think his aggression in the offensive end is really made this a much more potent offense. He's not just, where's Sid at? Where's Gino at? He's taking charge.
No, he is. His foot speed, I mean, he just looks like he's skating at a higher level to me. And remember, I always bring this up. He didn't have training camp last year. And some guys need training camp, some don't. Maybe he does. I don't know. But he looks like he's a little more fluid the way he's moving. And just his decision making, Joe. He's not getting trapped very often behind the play. He's not giving up in an inordinate amount of 2-on-1s like he was last season. He's pinching in a more intelligent way. And Dan Muse keeps bringing this up, and it's important. Carlson's not a great defensive player. We know that. But he's using his wheels in the defensive zone to disrupt plays, to make a difference. He's not going to knock people off the puck. That's not who he is. But you can see him putting in the effort. And even, I'll mention Chris Letang, who I was really hard on the first few games because I thought he was terrible. He's been much better the last 3 or 4 games, too. And when those two start playing better, Joe, completely different hockey team.
I was going to say that, Josh. I was worried about Letang last show. I'm like, everyone except kind of Rusty, who I'm giving grace to because he was injured for a couple weeks, and Letang played over expected. Now I think everyone's playing better than expected because a buddy of mine was texting me. He lives in North Carolina, a huge Penguin fan. He's like, what do you think? Is this for real? And I said, well, everybody is playing above with the way they're expected to play. And he's a big Letang guy. And I'm like, he's like, well, Letang's playing good. I'm like, Letang has to, because he like you always mention, Josh, he's on the ice too much. So when he's not playing well, it affects everything.
No, of course it does. And to his credit, he's been much better the last few games. And listen, I talk with people in the organization. I promise you, Joe, you weren't the only one who was worried about Chris Letang after the first 4 or 5 games. Everybody was worried about Chris Letang. I think it was the San Jose game, which they won 3-0. Letang did not have a good game that night. I was talking with some people in the organization after that game, and the general thinking was, oh man, like, we hope this isn't the Chris Letang that we're going to be getting all season, because if it is, it's a real problem.
So what? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No. So what do you and or anyone in the Penguin organization thinks is the reason for the turnaround?
Well, I will say this with Letang. Players that age, like, I've had so many guys in their late 30s in the NHL tell me October's the hardest month for them. It's just when you get older, it just gets harder to get the legs moving. You don't really feel yourself until November, sometimes December. I've had so many guys tell me that. So what Crosby and Malkin are doing right now just defies imagination. But maybe that is the case with Letang. Maybe he just needed a little while to get going, because he definitely looks more himself right now.
Does that mean Gino uses like the Russian calendar? Because he seems to do great in October. January is the issue.
Yeah, nothing about Gino is normal, though. It's funny you bring that up, Joe. I was thinking about that. Like, and I think the three of us all agree that it's an absolute joke that Russia's not invited to the Olympics.
So
Absolutely.
I get angry.
So do I. Angry. So it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. But I will say this, just strictly looking at the Penguins, might be a really good thing for number 71 to get 3 weeks off in the middle of the season. Like, remember, I think it was last year he got hurt. Maybe it was the year before. It was last year in Seattle, I think he got hurt. And he was not playing well, and he got a couple weeks off with the injury. He looked like a different guy when he came back. That rest really helps him. I don't know if he can do this for 82 games. I don't really think he can, but having that break in the middle of the season, I suspect, could really help him moving forward. So that is one positive in what is an absolutely ludicrous situation.
This is like, not saying we should do this. I hate load management in the NBA. And I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing with Kindle and Brunick. Like, in my opinion, just keep them in, but whatever, it's on their radar. But with older guys like Sid and Gino, if they maybe, let's say they're not on a heater and they slow down just a little bit, is it worth exploring the option of like, hey, Gino, is your ankle all right? Maybe, take Saturday night off and get a little bit of extra rest if they're going to continue to be a playoff team.
I think there's some evidence that with Malkin that might be okay.
Yeah.
I've thought about that. Or maybe just merely reducing his minutes. Like, neither one of them are playing huge minutes right now, by the way. Dan Muse rolls 4 lines, a lot more than Sully did.
I love it.
He's keeping the big guys fresh. And that's important. Like, I understand McDavid and Draisaitl are, almost a decade younger than Crosby and Malkin, but I watched some of these Edmonton games, and like, it's an October game, and these guys are playing like 27 minutes a night when they're losing. Like, that's not smart. You're going to wear these guys out. Crosby and Malkin are playing under 20 minutes most nights, and that's okay. That's probably for the best. Crosby, like, I don't know. He's different than anyone else, Joe.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
He always tells me, like, the more he plays, the better he plays, and it's actually true. He doesn't like breaks. He thinks that screws him up. But with Gino, maybe it's not the worst idea.
Well, I have 2 points on that, though. One is, these guys are winners. They're champions. It's not TJ
Yeah.
Watt who wants to sit on the sidelines.
No, that's a very good point.
I mean, like,
Touche.
imagine Gino, like, hey, Gino, we think you'd be better in the press box. Like, who's making that statement? No one. I mean, they can't even not sign them into a contract. It's like, I mean, and Sid's not going to need the rest. But on the rest point, I want to make. I think Bernicki has looked worse since they started load managing him, and I don't think he's getting the reps with the strength and conditioning coach on the bike that he needs to improve. I thought last night was his shakiest game, and even the old 2-9er called out, which I said last week, was he pulled a thing that you can only pull in junior when you're a number one pick. He got showed, they showed him, like, you can't do this in the NHL. I think he needs the reps. I understand you're trying to save the games or whatever you're trying to do. I understand that plan, but I think 2 days in a row was too much to miss.
I thought it was by far his worst game. His decision-making was not good at all. I just thought he looked really out of sorts, especially in the first period, but he never looked particularly good last night. And you're right, he didn't play 2 games in a row. He hadn't played in almost a week. Maybe that did have a negative impact on him. Let's see what they do here moving forward. I have been under the impression for a while now that they're going to keep both of them. But I do know there's a little bit of concern with Brunick and what they've seen from him the last couple of games. He has not played to the level that they are generally expecting from him or hoping from him. We'll see what the lineup looks like the next couple of days, but that's certainly, I think, worth monitoring. Kindle didn't have his best game either, although I didn't think he was bad, really. He maybe had a bit of a misplay on the second goal, I think it was. I just thought Kindle was quiet. We didn't see him with the puck a whole lot. And that brings me to one Mr. Koivunen, who was not very good in his first couple of games, got sent back down, and to his credit, dominated in Wilkes-Barre the way he'd want him to. He had 11 points in 6 games. Comes back up last night. I barely noticed him all night. Not saying that's cause for concern, but I am saying he's not looking quite like the kid that was so impressive in April when he was recalled last season. Feels like the speed of the game might be bothering him a little bit, or an adjustment period. So let's keep an eye on Koivunen. They need him to elevate his play if he wants to stay in the lineup.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a concern to me. And there's suddenly not going to be enough ice time for someone who's struggling. So I think his leash is going to be a little bit shorter than it would have been maybe last year, whenever we had a lot of ice time to chew up.
There are more forwards playing well right now, and Rucker McGroarty will be back at some point in the next month, I would think. So that's another forward that you want to get in the lineup. So but that's a good thing, though. You want guys, playing at a high level if they want to stay in the lineup. There's nothing wrong with that, Joe.
Well, that's the thing, Josh. It's like there's really only one spot right now if you want to get somebody going. And Phil Hollander has played well. He earned that spot, and he's playing smart hockey. So it's not like you're just gonna, hey, let's warm Koivunen up and kind of demote Hollander for no reason.
Right. No, I agree. And obviously Sid and Koivunen did not mesh at all. And I don't think you'll see Koivunen on the number 1 line anytime soon, if I had to guess. Hollander's earned his spot. I mean, and the cool thing about Hollander, like, he looked fine on the top line last night. You can slide him down to the 3rd or 4th line. That's okay. I think he'll be effective in that role, and McGroarty will be back pretty soon. That's a pretty exciting thing to get another big body back in the lineup. He looked so good at the end of last season. That certainly is an encouraging thing. Joe, we've been saying it for months. Like, we like these forwards. And they've done nothing to dispel that notion that the forwards might be better than people think.
I can't wait to see McGroarty with Kindle now. To me, that's just going to be a fun line.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm all for keep maybe having a kids line. I know that's something Mark Madden was talking about on the show the other day. I was talking with him in the press box about it. He said, I just want to see Kindle, McGroarty, and Koivunen. Just make it a kid line, make it your 3rd line. And I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think it's a very intriguing idea to kind of let them grow together.
And I think that helps with, like Madden was saying on his show and in his articles, that, you don't want to do what they did with Morozov and just have him be a chip and chase 3rd liner.
Right.
But if you have that line together, I'm all for it. Let's go. You have 3 lines that can score and are fun.
I do have a little disagreement with the Super Genius on this point, though. I don't think it's 3rd line from 1995. Like, I think 3rd lines nowadays, I mean, almost every 3rd line has skill. I mean, even the Florida Panthers,
Mhm.
I know. Joe, I brought that up with Mark when I was on a show the other day. I said, I don't know. I said their third line last year was Lundell and Marchand. Those guys weren't chipping and chasing. Like the game is different. But I agree, Kindle has to be with a certain caliber of line mate. We don't need to see him out there with Tommy Novak and Phil Tomasino all season. I don't think that helps him get better. But if you find a couple of the young guys who are playing at a high level that can play with him, make him better, help him learn. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, this kid can play. The more we watch him play, he's just passing every test.
Yeah.
Tommy has just enough moments this season to be like, okay, Tomasino, not so much. But now I have a legitimate question for your journalist. What is the deal with McGroarty? I did not quite understand. Is he just going to be down in Wilkes for a conditioning and then he's up, or is he going to have to beat out Danton Heinen to be next in line to come up to play? Like, I didn't quite understand the wording of the statement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know Kyle talked about that on the GM show last week and with Josh Getzoff, and he said that, Rucker was going to go to Wilkes-Barre for a while. My sense is that it is more of a conditioning assignment. They'll probably send him down there for 5 games, let him get his legs, let him get his timing a little bit. But I feel like Rutger kind of graduated at the end of last season to the point where he wasn't just trying to make a roster spot, that he has a spot when he is healthy. So I think we'll see him before too long, and that makes things interesting because there's just a lot of forwards on this roster who are pretty good right now. And I don't know that you want to touch that fourth line. I know it sounds silly to say, and I know a lot of the viewers are very anti-Nola Chari, but I think he's been okay. Like, I don't have a problem with how he's played. I think that fourth line has been effective. They're all good penalty killers. I can see them not wanting to touch that line right now, and I can see them not wanting to touch the second line, obviously, the Malkin line. So with Raquel out, okay, maybe there's a spot up there with Sid, and the third line is still a work in progress. But these are good problems to have. They've got a lot of people operating at a high level.
Yes. Yeah. The big fly in the ointment is the center that's been skating around. And hopefully he's going to Wilkes-Barre.
Is his name Kevin Hayes?
Yes.
No, I agree.
Every time you get like a spam email, like Penguins have a forward returning very soon. I'm like, oh, is it? Please, is it McGroarty? It's always Kevin Hayes. Like, no.
Yeah, no, as long as, I don't think they've been very shy about sending veterans down. So, if he's not up to snuff, I'm not too concerned about Dan Muse doing the right thing.
No, I don't. And I think, we have learned enough from Kyle Dubas now that we know Kyle's not afraid to hurt people's feelings. Like Danton Heinen and Ryan Graves are tearing it up in Wilkes-Barre. That's great. That's probably where they should be. And I look at this roster. I don't know where I see a home for Kevin Hayes. Like I think Blake Lazat's a pretty effective fourth line center. Hayes just slows this team down so much. I don't think they need that, especially when you already do have a Chari on the lineup. Like, you don't want 2 of those guys who just can't skate. I think that could be a pretty harmful thing, so I would not be in a rush to get him back in the lineup myself.
And Kevin Hayes' give a crap level is that of like the Steelers secondary.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, nothing's that bad, but I know what you mean. More on them later.
You know what I mean, though.
For sure, because there is a sense on the Penguins right now. There's this kind of youthful energy right now. The way they are just frankly outworking teams. Like, I don't think Kevin Hayes' presence is going to help that. Nothing against Kevin Hayes. It's just he's not at that stage in his career. The more would you rather see Kevin Hayes or Tristan Brose in the lineup right now? I think I know which one I would rather see. The young guys are coming along. They're really making a difference. And I think they're helping inspire the older guys a little bit. It's just the mojo is good right now. I don't think you want to screw that up.
I wanted Brose in September. I don't know why Brose, that's why I think Novak has played just well enough to keep Brose in Wilkes-Barre.
Novak, he shows you little flashes, like that little pass he made to Kindle in Florida on the give and go. He does just enough. He did score the goal against Vancouver. I wouldn't say he's been awful. I would say he's been disappointing. You certainly want more from him. But when you're winning, you can deal with that stuff a lot more. And when you're 7-2-1, you can handle some people maybe not playing as well as you'd like.
And Blake Lizotte gives an honest damn effort.
Yes.
Every night. And, hey, I'm the first person to say Noel Acciari, he's a orange cone. And, he's blocking shot. Like, anyone can block a shot. But you know what? He's doing it and doing it with pride. And he's hustling out there. So what more, I can't ask for more out of Noel Acciari.
No, he's been
I don't
fine.
see Hayes doing that.
No.
I never saw Hayes do that.
I've never been critical of Acciari in terms of effort. Like, okay, he's a limited hockey player, especially with foot speed. That dude will throw his body in front of any puck. He is a really, a team-first guy, and he's really well-liked in the locker room. He's good with the young players.
I thought his knee was real close to being a season ender. That play that he got bent backwards last week.
It didn't look good.
It did not look good.
No.
So, he's been not disappointing at all.
No, and fine. That fourth line, it's fine. I know it's not going to score a ton of goals. Connor Dewar's got 3 goals early. I don't think he'll continue that pace, but he's a good player.
Yeah.
Like I like Dewar's game. Like I always say, he's the adult in the room. He knows he'll get the puck deep with 3 minutes left when you have a 1-goal lead. He's just that guy.
Yeah. I think you need that type of player for I don't know if they're a championship caliber team, but you need that type of.
I love the rusty nail.
Yeah.
I will say this, Corey, speaking of knees, that rat play on Caleb Jones that wasn't the dirtiest play I've ever seen, but if it wasn't the rat,
wasn't the cleanest.
It would have went unnoticed. But because it was the rat, thank God it didn't happen in Ottawa. They have a national holiday.
Yeah.
Those babies.
Yeah.
Yes, they would. The rat can still play a little bit, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
How about Jari? We talked about how good the goaltending was. Jari's double scorpion save on the rat was insane.
Unbelievable.
And let's give Tristan Jari some credit, by the way. Like I've been as hard on him as anyone, but I'll tell you what, he's played really high level. And he has been so good at the end of games, especially in Florida. You mentioned the save he made on Marchand was unbelievable. And you could feel like Florida was steamrolling the Penguins in the third period. You were just waiting for that avalanche of goals. And it didn't happen. And Tristan Jari was a huge part of the reason why. I just thought he stood tall. And I give him credit. I still don't trust the guy, quite honestly. But he's played really well, and he's kind of reinventing himself a little bit, and I think he deserves credit for it.
Do you guys think he's earned the number 1 spot at this point? I mean, I think he's outplayed Shilovs over the last couple of games.
Probably, Joe, but I think that'll happen organically, right? I mean, if one guy really separates himself from the other, they're going to start giving him the majority of the starts. But I don't mind how they're doing it right now.
I really like how they're doing it now. So it keeps both of them on their toes. Both of them know when they're going to play. And that's great. I mean, you can't complain about what's going on. I mean, there's no way to look at it, Corey, and be like, I don't know if it's working. I mean, it's worked pretty much to perfection. And I don't think Jari's good when he's I don't think Jari's good in pressure, although he's learning a little bit more. Like I thought against the Blues last night, I thought he made a bunch of big saves. Or the game would have been a lot different. He got saved by the pipe a few times.
He did. I thought Shilovs, by the way, I thought he was actually pretty good against Columbus on a night when the Penguins didn't play well, and he was great in overtime. But my God, was he bad in the shootout. Like that was very amateurish in the shootout, what we were watching. But one step at a time. I think the goaltending in general has been quite good. Certainly a step above what we saw last season.
And I'll tell you, I've hardly any complaints with Dan Muse. I give him almost a 9.9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I know it sounds like I'm picking on my guy, but you got Letang off. Okay, now my boy. I don't think Gino should do the shootouts. Well, I mean, Kindle, Novak. I mean, I love Gino more than anybody. It's, I would love to see Kindle take that.
Yeah, Rust is probably their best shootout guy right now. So
I love Rust. And Sid's getting better again, though.
Yeah, he is. He's having a resurgence. That was a pretty move, in fact. That was very good to see. I agree. And they have certainly given away an enormous amount of points in overtime and shootouts the last few years. So that's something you'd like to see them work on. But like I keep saying, 7-2-1, third best record in the league. boy, we are seeing a lot of encouraging things. I was not expecting to say that a few weeks ago.
No, certainly not. And then we'd be remiss if we didn't mention before we get into our sponsor, Bill Neofus, Sidney Crosby, 1,700 points, ninth player in NHL history to do it. He's only, what, Josh, 22 behind Mario at this point? It's pretty insane, the stuff that we're seeing. And again, we've said it multiple times on this podcast, but for him to come in and live up to every expectation that was thrust upon him and exceed and win the Stanley Cup 3 times and the gold medal 3 times. And it's just, it's fun. And he's got Mario in his sights. And then right after that, Stevie Y, which is his, childhood hero. So it's going to be exciting to watch.
He's got 14 points through 10 games, by the way. And he tends to start slowly. So that might be really encouraging for what might be on the way. Joe, I don't know what else we can say about number 87, but he's one of the greatest hockey players who ever lived. He's one of the great ambassadors for the sport that ever lived. And again, this season, he's just not falling back. He's not fading at all. He's still the same guy again. It's unbelievable what he's doing.
4th fastest to 1,700. And it's, 99, 66, Marcel Dion.
And then Sid.
Is that all? Yeah.
Yeah.
And taking nothing away from those three, but those three did play in an era where it was easier to compile points than what Sid's doing. We should mention that.
Yeah. I'm not ever going to knock Mr. Crosby's accomplishments, but I think Mario in 99 did it in like 500 less
of
games.
Course. Of course. And Sid's always the first to mention that. As anytime someone brings up Mario, Sid always says, well, I played 500 more games. And he's right.
And he knows the number.
He's right. Oh, of course he does. Yeah. But still pretty impressive.
and okay, you got those 4, right? I mean, the other guys are Ronnie, Yzerman, Gordie Howe, Yager. It's like, that's the deep end of the pool.
It certainly is. And now, God forbid, let's just hope he stays healthy, because if he wants to play for a few more years, I don't think it's premature to talk about the number 2,000. He's 299 points away. So that would, okay, probably slightly 4 seasons to get to the 2,000 mark. I don't know if he's going to play that long. I think if he stays healthy, he might. But that's probably the number that, realistically he could pull off. And if you score 2,000 points in your NHL career, and when you missed over 100 games in your prime during that time, and you still put those numbers up, like, what else needs to be said? This is very clearly one of the greatest players who ever lived. And just what astounds me, Joe, is that he was so precocious at 18, immediately the best player in the league by the time he was 19. And now 20 years later, he's still one of the best players in the league. Like, I don't know how many times in the history of sports anybody's been able to do that. It's a very rare thing.
And now there's literally videos everywhere. And I sense this coming maybe 3 or 4 years ago, was Flyer fans actually admitting that Sid was good. And now they're even on video now admitting it, not just, with their faces covered and their voices changed.
Yeah. Why don't we get that guy from that was on NBC? What's his name? I forget because he's so irrelevant. Anyways, the former Flyer.
Keith Jones?
Yeah. Why don't we get him to come on and admit it finally?
He's all right.
Yeah. No, I just,
Jones is actually like, Jean Beliveau compared to Mike Milbury.
That's true.
As far as class.
By the way, speaking of Milbury, I found the picture on my phone the other day of Milbury. I took a picture of him when the Penguins won the Cup in San Jose, when he was just standing looking at the ice, looking very depressed. Somebody DM'd me the other day on Twitter and said, hey, you have that picture of Milbury? And oh my God, I found it on my phone from 2016. So maybe I should tweet that at some point.
You should post that.
It was a good one.
There was some sad news that happened last night. We'd like to get an update. But why don't we get into Mr. Neofus before we get into that?
The great Bill Neofus, our sponsor, getting ready for his trip to Sweden to support the Penguins in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
I plan on breaking bread in Sweden with our great sponsor, Bill. Bill checks in every week to remind us of, little tidbits for everyone. And of course, car insurance is a big part of the insurance world. And it's a reminder to everybody, we live in Western Pennsylvania. We literally have more deer than anyone. I was driving home last night and there was just a cute little deer just on the side of the road having dinner. They're everywhere. And Bill wants to remind everybody to be particularly aware this time of year, especially around sunrise and sunset. That's when they are most commonly out there. So keep an eye on the deer. Always have your head on a swivel when you're driving in Western Pennsylvania. We all know that by now. But if you do hit a deer, or if you have any other insurance needs, let me tell you something. Our friends at Neophis Insurance, they're going to help you no matter what you need. They're not going to rip you off. They're going to get you the best rate possible. And maybe just as important, they're going to make you feel comfortable and make you feel at ease. Because when you get into a car wreck or you have an issue with your home or whatever insurance needs, it's never fun. It's like I always cringe when I think about it. It gives me anxiety. But I'm telling you, they will relax you because they're good people. So give our friends at Neophis Insurance Group a call. It's 412-364-3388 or at Neophis. That's Neofes insurance.com. Talk with Bill. Tell him we sent you. That means you'll get to talk hockey for a while before you even get into your insurance stuff. And who doesn't like that?
Absolutely. Who doesn't want to go talk hockey and then, the insurance thing, he'll take care of that for
Listen,
you.
I got an offender bender. But first of all, what do you think about Kindle on the power play, Bill?
Speaking of Mr. Neophis, a long time season ticket holder,
Yeah.
was Bill in the house for the Staggy fireside chat?
He was not. Bill had to go out of town he had some kind of insurance meeting in Maryland over the weekend. He's like, God, my timing's terrible. I missed the Flower game because I'm at the Steeler game in Ireland. Now I'm in Maryland and I'm missing the fireside chat. But we should mention that I was there for it. And just to see Artie, who's a friend of the show and literally one of my favorite people on earth. And then Ronnie Franchise in town, and the great Eddie Johnston, and the great Scotty Bowman, who the Penguins had a wheelchair for Scotty. He doesn't need one. They're like, you're 91. We're going to expedite things. We'll wheel you around. After a few minutes, he just said, I don't need to be in this. I'm fine. And he was just walking around because he is a marvel. He's I think 92 he just turned, and he is sharp as a tack. What a pleasure it was to talk with him.
With the stat that they announced was he has his name on the cup 14 times.
Is that all?
More than he's on every ring.
Come on.
He's on every ring for like the last 60 years. I just wanted to say, because I never heard, we always heard Staggy calling Alfie the Jack Lambert on cleats, but you heard, I don't know if you heard, Corey, but the crowd, to our fans to hear, was Ronnie was telling a story. We always hear the story about he went out to dinner with Alfie like 3 games into their Penguinship. And he's like, hey, I think we can win a cup with this team, Alfie. But I know you heard because you were at the round table. He told a story that him and Alfie was having a beer icing down in the players' training room, and Lambert came in. And if he couldn't love Ronnie anymore, he grew up a huge Steeler fan. Yeah. He was wigging out because Lambert's there, and Alfie's like, "Who's that guy?" And he was like, "Yeah, that guy doesn't look so tough." I'm paraphrasing. And Lambert told Alfie, "Try me."
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it's true. I was in the press lounge a couple of years ago, and Seattle was in town, and all Ronnie wanted to talk about was the Steelers. He loves the Steelers, loves going to games. Just a great guy. Yeah, Scotty was telling stories. Like, even when he talked with the media before that, he was telling these stories about how he was in Montreal one night and somebody said, "You got to go see this kid play hockey. Just trust me." So he went to see Mario play, and he thought Mario was like 16. He didn't realize he was 13 at the time. He's like, "This kid's only 13?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, this kid might be the greatest player who ever lived when he gets older." Scotty saw him once at 13, and he knew. He was seeing something completely different. And 13 years later, he coached him to his second Stanley Cup. So pretty cool story. And man, what a Hall of Fame class. What an honor it was to be around all 4 of those guys. It does not get better than those guys. And just to see how many of their former teammates and guys who played for them. I was walking around the concourse. Mark Recchi just walks by because he wanted to be there. And Randy Hillier, one of my favorite old Penguin defensemen, was there. Like, all these guys showed up just to be a part of it. It was really cool.
Yeah, what a way to start off the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's a pretty strong Hall of Fame for the first
Not a bad class. And we know 68 will be here probably next year or the year after to get inducted into it as well. So that will be something.
If he can take time off his schedule.
Yeah, there is that.
That's true. He might have to do it during his All-Star break in the Czech Republic.
They will accommodate him, I'm sure.
So more somber news. Last night, a fan fell during the second goal the Penguins scored. Josh, and you were there, so I mean, kind of give, do you have any updates on the fan? I know he was taken to the hospital.
No, we don't. I know we're filming this a few hours before people are going to listen or watch what we're talking about. So there might be news that comes out by then. We don't really have much news other than that the gentleman was in critical condition last we heard, taken to Mercy Hospital. Really terrible thing. And for those of us at the game, this happened. I know a lot of people have been to games or go to games, so you know kind of the layout of the arena. It was kind of at the back of the section behind the Penguins bench on the main concourse level. The gentleman fell from the second level. By all accounts, just a freak accident type deal. Nobody really saw it, Joe, because it happened during a goal celebration real early in the game. So, you know, there's noise, there's, you know, the horns blowing, everyone's high-fiving and standing up. So you don't really, I think we probably would have noticed it if it just happened in the middle of play. But from what I didn't see it. No one in the press box saw it. Very few people, I think those who were right there obviously noticed it. That's really a terrible story. We certainly pray for the best. And, you know, talking with Sid after the game, that the players were told about it like right after the game. And Sid was so upset about it. Like he didn't even want to talk about, you know, 1,700 points here. He made it pretty clear. He wanted to get information about this guy and find out what happened. So everybody was pretty, you know, shaken up by it.
No, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's
just
no other way to say it. I mean, no one wants to go to, you know, you want to go to a game, you want to have fun, you want to be, you know, and it doesn't sound like wasn't being a jerk.
No,
you know, he just fell.
And I do want to say
you know
this.
what I mean? It's like, I mean, and let's face, I'm scared of heights. Those
they're
upper
steep.
decks.
No,
steep.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed it doesn't happen. I want to say this too. I know what happened at PNC Park in April when the drunk kid jumped out of the seat. Like, we don't know anything that happened yet.
Yeah.
A lot of people are assuming, he must have been drunk. We don't know that. Like, you know, for all we know, he stumbled down the steps and just some horrible tragedy happened. So let's not just assume he was drunk or acting like an idiot. We don't know that. Accidents do happen. But you know, just hope and pray that this guy can pull through. It's just a scary thing. And obviously people who witnessed it were horrified by what they saw, and understandably so.
Yeah. Gives me a little bit of hope that, you know, they said that he landed a little bit on the suite level.
Yeah, apparently he hit the suite level on the way down, which sounds terrible, but maybe
that might have
his
slowed
fall
him
enough.
down
It might have saved his life. We hope that it did. But I can tell you the Penguins were one of my favorite things about the Penguins organization is how many classy people are in it. And I can tell you from Sid and Dan Muse, like they were all visibly shaken by what happened, and everybody down there was really, really upset. So it certainly put a somber haze on what was otherwise a fun evening at the rink. It's just a crazy thing, and it always amazes me that doesn't happen more often. When you just look at stadiums and arenas and how steep the steps are, you got thousands of people every night in those places. Unfortunately, things happen.
Just, you know, say maybe it was a goal celebration. He's walking up carrying nachos. He hears something. He turns around. He loses balance or flips. I mean, you know,
the trip. There was the floor might have been wet. Somebody spilled a drink. Or, who knows? A million different things could have happened. Let's not just assume that it was somebody acting like an idiot, because it probably wasn't. Yeah.
No, and shout out to I do want to shout out the staff at the arena. I mean, it's my former coworkers whenever I was an usher, but you know, they're trained on that stuff. Like they, you know, there's safety training every summer, and they're very good in the EMTs and everything there.
It was a terrible night, because I was told about 10 minutes after that happened, a puck went into the crowd, broke a guy's cheekbone, and he lost a bunch of teeth.
Oh, geez.
It was real ugly. So it's just a rough night for the ushers and the staff at the arena, to say the least. Just one thing after another. So
wild,
that you know, stuff happens, but that's certainly, you know, we're hoping for good news.
Yeah,
prayers for that guy.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers with that guy and his family. And we'll hopefully have some good news for you soon. Before we get to the week ahead, by the time you hear this, the Penguins have already played the Flyers, so we'll kind of touch on that. But around the NHL, you know, there's a couple of different headlines. The big one to me, because it touches locally, is what, guys, is going on with Mike Sullivan. I'm not saying it's...
that's so funny. I thought you were going to say how Logan Cooley's tearing it up.
Oh,
that he is. We'll get to him in a second.
We can get to that in a second. But
no, I didn't mean to jump to the shock. I thought for sure it was like...
I did say the local aspect, so I guess I could be misleading and lead you to Logan Cooley. But, you know, and it's only the first 8-10 games of the season, so I'm not saying anything set in stone here, but I don't know. It gives the Fire Tomlin crowd something to talk about.
Well, it does. And Joe, I know you were really high on the Rangers entering the season. Some people were. I thought they'd be a playoff team. I wasn't as high on them as you were. The goaltenders been fine. We know he's a star. They just can't score. That's been the problem. They lost their last game in Calgary pretty one-sided. I think it was 5-1. The Rangers, I believe, are 3-5-2. Do you have any concern for the Blue Shirts, Joe, or do you think it's too early?
Well, I'm concerned for my pick, but I bleed black and gold, so keep losing. That gives us a spot.
That's true.
I'll gladly take their spot. But I have a good friend, a kid who opens for me down here, and he was apoplectic. I think that's how you say that word. How they got just burned by the Calgary organization. I mean, and Calgary stinks. I mean, they're in bad shape. I guess Igor was giving dirty looks to teammates. It's coming apart. I feel bad because I want the best for Sully, 1,000,000%, and everybody in this panel does, and I think everybody listening to this show does.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I've very rarely been this wrong though. I said Vince Trocheck, he must be Gordie Howe. If they're this bad.
Well, they don't look good in the early going. And one problem Sully will have, you got a lot of egos in that locker room. That's not an easy locker room to deal with. We already knew that going into the season. Like, I like JT Miller. JT's an abrasive personality. Okay, I love Vince Trocheck, one of my favorite people in hockey. He's a good dude. And he's also best friends with JT. So, he's going to go along with whatever JT wants. That's just the way it is. You got Panarin, Shesterkin. These aren't the easiest guys to deal with. Zibanejad. They're all pretty well known to have pretty big egos. Okay, so we know the locker room was a problem last season before JT was even there. Mike Sullivan has his hands full. I'm telling you right now, he does. And the one overriding concern with the Rangers, like, they're top heavy. They got a lot of really good players. These guys are all in their 30s. Like, they are. I'm not saying they all got old at once. I don't think that's the case. But I do think that's a concern for the Rangers. And Joe, you make a great point. Like, you look at the division, it could very well be that, Carolina's good, New Jersey's good, Washington's probably good. Columbus, okay. The Islanders aren't very good. Philly stinks. Like, it might be the Penguins and the Rangers for a playoff spot 4 months from now. That's completely in play, especially with the way the Penguins have started out the season. So who knows? But I don't really think the East is very good, and I'm not so sure that the Rangers are very good either.
Well, I've been on record, Josh, as saying I think Adam Fox is the most overrated player in the NHL, and I still believe that. But I will say this: everyone, when they wanted to run K'Andre Miller out of New York, and he's fitting in pretty well with regular season Rod. I would have moved Fox and kept K'Andre Miller. I think that was one of their big mistakes.
It's interesting.
And I think Zibanejad, I like Zibanejad. He's not a go-to guy. He's not a winner. He's not a championship guy. I like him though. They should have moved him for a guy with some shoulders to play.
No, I don't disagree with that. So I don't know. The Rangers are in a spot, and Sully's going to be hearing about it. Think about the pressure on Mike Sullivan right now. You go to New York, all those expectations, you're making all that money, and you're off to a bad start. And what if things don't go well in the Olympics? Things don't go well in the Olympics. There's a lot of people, fairly or not, that are going to be questioning Mike Sullivan, especially if the Penguins keep playing the way they are. So there's a lot of pressure on Sully these days.
Well, if he has Holler back as his goaltender, I'll be questioning him as well. And he better bring my boy Rusty.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
I don't. I don't think Mike Sullivan's as bad as a coach as he looks right now.
No,
on paper,
I don't either.
But it does kind of speak a little bit to, I get the like I said, the Fire Tomlin crowd, who change a change of pace. Dan Muse appears to be a really good coach, so I think they're very thrilled with him there.
Yes,
but even just the change of the voice, and I wondered if Sully's message kind of stale with the Rangers since it's older players and it's the same message that he was telling before.
Well, I think we know it got stale with the Penguins in the end. That's pretty clear. And I will say this, I don't think the Penguins ever lost a playoff series because of Mike Sullivan.
No.
I really don't. And anybody who thinks that is wrong. But was it time for him to go in retrospect? Yeah, I think it surely was. hockey, for whatever reason, coaches have an expiration date in hockey, I think, more than any other sport. So we've learned that. I'm fascinated to see what happens with the Rangers. I think they're one of the NHL's most interesting teams. I have a lot of respect for Sullivan as a coach. I'm sure they'll give him a pretty long leash in New York, but the pressure is on, and I just they've got some holes in that roster. It's not a deep roster, so it's a tough spot he's in right now.
I know. I would have kept Chris Kreider too. I thought that was a mistake. And
he looks all right to me. Yeah.
Speaking of coaches losing a playoff series, Jim Hillier in my Mistress the Kings, he absolutely lost a playoff series.
Yes,
he did. 100%. That's 100% his fault.
Right. Absolutely. But I mentioned Sullivan though. I mean, he's lost playoff series because of goaltending on more than one occasion. I never got the feeling, boy, he was outwitted, outcoached during that series. No, that doesn't happen with him.
No. I will say this too for the fired Tomlin crowd, and I'm nowhere near wanting to saying that he should stay and he's Vince Lombardi, but I don't think Vince Lombardi could make this team better.
No. And I guess we might as well just roll right into that with the Steelers because
everybody's grabbing out there. Nobody's tackling.
It's
Vince Lombardi. grab.
What the hell's going on out there?
It's I mean, Vince Lombardi's rolling in his grave, even though he's not a Steelers person. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been this resigned to, like, I got excited. They were 4-1. Like, oh, hey, something might happen here. Maybe they got something. To quickly, and I think you could feel it from Steeler Nation, where you're just like, oh, this is what we are. We aren't good. We aren't a good football team. And what kills me the most is it was, quoted everywhere. Cam Hayward said, we don't have any fight in this team. And Darius Slay with his, as Randy called it on the DV morning show, he gave him an Olay into the end zone. It just, didn't even try to push the guy out at the 1 yard line. Unacceptable. I don't know what to say about this team other than, they look like a team that doesn't respond to their coach anymore. And the defensive game plan, who, by the way, is probably made by Mike Tomlin, isn't working. And they've been falling apart, and they look like they're quitting on him. Other than that, is anything else going wrong?
Yeah, Joe, I'm curious for your thoughts on this. My thinking has always been in Pittsburgh, we could live with the offense not being very good, but when the defense sucks, like, we all take it personally. It's not supposed to be that way in Pittsburgh, right? And then when you consider it's the highest paid defense in the National Football League, and I believe it currently ranks 30th in the league in yards against. And the only time this defense really looked dominant all season was when it got to play against Dylan Gabriel and the Browns. Like, I can't help but point the finger at Tomlin because I'm sorry. There is so much high-priced talent on this team. They didn't all get old at once. They don't all suddenly suck. Like, there's something very wrong, in my opinion, with how this team's being coached. I don't think anybody can question that at this point.
No, I don't question that at all. I think they're terribly coached, even just on the discipline front.
Oh,
which you always bring up. I mean, where is the discipline?
My God.
I mean, it's terrible, and you're absolutely right. Everybody in Pittsburgh, every Steeler fan, that's Mean Joe. That's pre-Mean Joe. That's Ernie Stotner.
That's right.
My dad's favorite lineman. That goes back to the 40s and the 50s. Like, you'll beat the Steelers, but you'll lose the next week because you're beat up.
Getting your ass beat in the parking lot, even if you beat them on the field, right? Yeah, I mean, right.
Yeah, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
And two points is, I think it's funny, like, all the real Steeler fans, worried about the only, besides Boz, which he's a kicker, so that counts. The only bright spot is Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
And all these, hard hats still, Aaron Rodgers, he's in a cave, he's not a Steeler. Like, he's the only guy worth his salt. Because to me, the two biggest culprits are Cam Hayward, Scam Hayward. It's a scam. He won more money. And TJ Watt. What have you done all year? For the captain to say, we didn't have any fight. I know I always say he wants to come out and have his Gatorade when it's 3rd and 7. They'd have to shoot Mean Joe. Do you think Mean Joe Green would go to a podium and go, "We didn't have any fight"? Mean Joe Green would be kicking somebody's ass in the locker room.
That's right.
Is what he would be doing. And then what? What did he do? He go have your Gatorade because you're not tackling anybody anyway. I mean, that's a disgrace, those two.
Could not agree more. And when I heard Cam say that, I thought to myself, like, for one, like, how tone deaf is he to come out and as the captain of the team and say that? Mm-hmm. It's a horrible look on his part, but also, like, maybe it's true.
Yeah.
And that's because it kind of looked like it was true. And that's the thing about Rodgers that I love so much, Joe. Like, Rodgers can still play. He's still really good. He's been their MVP, maybe he and Boswell. Like, Rodgers has been outstanding. He deserves so much better than what everyone around him has done. But my single favorite thing about Rodgers, this guy's 41. He's got a Super Bowl already. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest players ever. He's got God knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. He appears to care a lot more than most of his teammates. Look at how angry he looks on the sideline. Whereas you see other guys, they just don't seem to care. Tomlin's body language was bizarre on Sunday. Yeah. He looked like he was just staring into space all night. Like he didn't know what was going on. Whereas Rodgers is just fuming. He wants to win so bad. That's my favorite thing about Rodgers. And all these idiots who questioned him before the season, he's not the problem. Okay? That they have a lot of problems, and I think it starts at the top with Art Rooney, quite frankly.
Me too.
But
Fredo.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, what can we have something different? It's just the same thing every single season. But Rodgers is not a problem. I think it's been a joy to watch him play. But what happened was embarrassing the other night, and I'm telling you, the Steelers are in trouble, Joe. You got the Colts, then the Chargers. You got the Bills and Ravens twice later this season. They got to go to Detroit. I am telling you, it is no sure thing they're going to win this division. I don't care if Baltimore's 2-5 or not.
No, the Baltimore is still the odds-on favorite to win the division.
I can see why,
even though they're 2-5. Like, that's how bad it is for the Steelers.
Well, Josh, you just rolled off like 7 games. They're not going to win.
Probably not. I mean, it's the NFL. Listen, it's the NFL. You never know, but. I mean, they're not going to be favored in any of those games. Not as long as the other team's quarterback's healthy.
No, and we are mentioning Rodgers and how fired up he was, and I tweeted this maybe during the game or after. I can't remember. I was just in a fury of Yinzer rage. But Aaron Rodgers seems to have a very low tolerance for bullshit.
Yeah,
and Mike Tomlin is the king of bullshit.
Yes.
And this has been the match made in heaven. They've wanted to play in the same sandbox together for a while. Do you see that kind of wearing thin quickly and Aaron's starting to see, this veneer wasn't as shiny as it really was?
That's interesting. Could be. And you could tell by the look on Aaron's face in the second half, Joe. He was clearly thinking, man, I thought I was coming to a team with a good defense. I didn't think I was going to have to put up 35 points to win games. And clearly he thought wrong on that one, as we all did, I think.
Well, Corey, you might know the answer to this question. Maybe Josh does. I don't. Did he get along with Mike McCarthy or didn't he?
He
because
did.
Mike McCarthy was in a booth, and I think Mike McCarthy could be. I would love to see Mike McCarthy in Latrobe August 15th.
I think him and McCarthy got along.
I think they were fine. Yeah, I don't think Rodgers is quite as hated as the media leads us to believe. There are some people he didn't get along with, clearly. I think he's just, he's a different kind of guy. We know that about Rodgers, but I know from Kabali and other people who cover the Steelers who are around them every day, like his teammates seem to like him. Coaches like him. Like everybody on the staff seems to like him. Like I don't think he's quite the awful human being that he's sometimes made out to be. But boy, it's going to be interesting, Joe, to watch him though these next few weeks if things go downhill quickly. To see if he says anything, to see if he acts out at all, because after starting the season 4-1, I don't think he expected to see his defense betray him the way it has the last 2
And
weeks.
I don't think any of it would be like out of line. Like he's not going to take some out of line shot at somebody. Like
I kind of want him to say something, Joe. Wouldn't you like it if Rodgers just mouthed off about the staff or the defense? I'd be fine with that. Somebody has to, right?
Oh well, I mean, Corey made a great point. It's all warranted. They're terrible.
Yeah. No,
I
mean,
someone's not going to say, it really does start at the top. I mean, even when they interview Art Rooney the third on, on the preseason games, it's like, are you watching it's always
oh,
like, this guy's a lawyer?
I know. No, I know.
I would not want him representing me.
No, it's incredibly frustrating. It really is. And especially when it's been the same thing over and over again every year. They just look so unprepared. I mean, how many times, Joe, did Patrick Queen turn his head around, like in the second half, looking at the secondary when the ball was snapped? Like, nobody's on the same page. It's
Our buddy Bill Crawford made a great point. He said that I never thought they'd miss Minka that bad. And that might be one of the reasons why they're terrible, is Minka just made up for all that over the middle. But I think the number one problem with the Steelers is effort. And I don't mean by Rodgers. I don't mean by the running backs. I don't even really mean by the offense. I think the defense lacks effort. 1,000%. TJ Watt, I don't care if there's 9 guys trying to block you. Win a battle. Win a personal battle on the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're letting white guys run 30 yards downfield.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you never heard that stuff with, like, whenever Joey Porter was on the team, with the Casey Hampton teams where, there was a lack of, there was a lack of effort. That never happened.
no, it's very true. And I think this defense is just mentally weak. Like when something goes wrong, they turn the ball, the offense turns the ball over, they get bad field position. You can just feel them get deflated. Like they give up very easily, I find, and that's an effort thing too. I just don't see any athletic character on this team, and I don't know what the problem is. But it's awful, and it's compounded, Joe, by the fact that in the preseason, Mike Tomlin saying could be a historical defense, and Juan Thornhill, who completely stinks, by the way, saying this could be the greatest defense of all time. Like, how about the nerve of them to say stuff like that and then to suck this bad? It's like you couldn't even believe it. It can't actually be true that they could be this bad after being that sure of themselves. And I think we all thought this defense had a chance to be pretty good because on paper it is good. But in practice, something's terribly wrong. And even DK Metcalf before the season in training camp said, this is the greatest defense I've ever played against. So that tells me coaching's the problem. Because in training camp, you're not scheming stuff. It's just one-on-one, talent versus talent. When the coaches get involved, the schemes get involved, boy, things look a little different, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's at least I can stop hearing how TJ Watt's an all-time great Steeler now. Because I think you have to get more than 1 sack a year.
Yeah.
To do that. And
on the same day when Myles Garrett gets 5 sacks, by the way.
But I'm sure he's not double teamed.
Yeah, never. Yeah, Micah Parsons never double teamed, right?
Yeah, never done. But this is just a personal note, maybe a plea, if you will. Can they just quit with the renegade horse shit?
Yep.
Oh God.
First of all, it sticks. I never liked that song to begin with. Could there be any less of a masculine I mean, could you get Metallica? Could you get the Stones? Maybe Black Sabbath, War Pigs. We got Sticks. That's our rally cry. Get out of here. And I don't think Renegade, maybe twice it stopped it. Usually Renegade's like it wakes the other team's offense up. Okay, now it's time to go score.
Yeah. Yeah. And, can we make it a special occasion thing? Yeah. Like, it feels so staged. And like they were saying on the morning show at DVE, like it's fan service. And I'm like, I get it. But like, it should be saved so that whenever it's actually needed and you can feel the defense riding a wave of emotion, then play it.
Well, I would also like to add, Corey, maybe don't play Renegade when like 35% of the crowd has cheese on their heads. Like, though I don't know that I've ever seen more road fans in that stadium for a game. They did to the Steelers what Steelers fans often do in road stadiums. I completely agree. I didn't like when they played Renegade. Maybe bring it out when the defense is actually not embarrassing itself. That would be my advice. And yeah, sticks, for God's sake. You're absolutely right, Joe. I mean, I've long maintained the Penguins goal song. I don't care if they have a young fan base. I always thought Paint It Black would be the greatest goal song ever, especially for a team that wears black and gold. So that's always, I've told the Penguins that for years. They don't listen to me. But yeah, there's a little too much Renegade these days for what might be the worst defense in the National Football League, I might add.
Yeah, it's just, on a national broadcast, they're going to come back and they're going to be like, oh, Renegade's happening. And then they show the crowd, and boy, did the crowd look really not that enthused,
No.
And I will say, sticks, it's whatever. But there was one time that I saw Renegade work really well, and it was the 2010 divisional game against
Baltimore.
the Ravens.
Yeah.
And we had made a big stop, scored a touchdown, and started the comeback. And they pulled Renegade out way early, like early third quarter.
Yeah.
And Ryan Clark got an interception after that, and it was just downhill from there. So
there's a time to do it, but it did feel staged the other night. It feels staged a lot, and that's become a problem at Steelers games in general. By the way, why do you have to wait for a crappy song from the 70s to make noise? You're allowed to make noise in the first quarter, too. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, I think I as much as I hate Sticks and I hate that song, I think the biggest problem with Renegade is you don't have James Harrison anymore. You have a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Renegade when TJ's like on the sideline that got his Gatorade bottle. It's not really a great look.
They need to employ the world's toughest DJ, Ryan Reeves.
Who certainly had his way with Matt Rempe, I might add, other night. I assume you enjoyed that showdown, Joe.
Yeah, I wanted to see Rempe get some more shots, and I'm even for an ex-Penguin, I'm just not a Ryan Reeves fan. I think Ryan Reeves should have been a professional wrestler. Because what the two things he likes, talking and stage fights.
I agree, but I would not want to fight him. I will say that.
No, I wouldn't want to fight him. I wouldn't want to fight Rempe. I wouldn't want to fight Parker Waterspoon. I wouldn't want to fight Ben Kindle. I'm an old man. I've had 7 surgeries.
You would beat Tommy Novak's ass, Joe. I don't want to hear it.
I'm fully confident that, Joe, you could park yourself in front of the net. If you haven't met Joe in real life, he's a tall man.
Joe's a big man.
Joe could park himself in front of the net, and Gino could bank a couple off of you. So
I do got sweet hands. I can't skate, but I got sweet hands.
You sound like Brazzer. It's fine.
No, Brazzers. He's he's bossy compared to me. I love it. I hope nothing happens where they ever break that lineup, because if this really is Gene's last Machino year, let's let him just have fun for a whole year.
Boy, was he good last night, by the way. Man, is he flying.
When he skates like that he did on the second goal.
He's got some serious jump right now. He does.
Yeah. So
and I'll tell you too. How about Bukestad? In the headbutt too. I thought Gino was gonna get a 5-game suspension. He almost took his head off of the stick.
Yeah. We love the spicy Gino.
Nick Bukestad, like the nicest man on earth, by the way. But yes, things happen in hockey.
Yeah.
His biggest move as a Penguin ever was taking that private jet when he got the trade.
That's right.
Well, Nick Bukestad, we miss you dearly. I think he scored. I think I saw. We went to a pathetic game where we lost the Predators, and it was like the only time I saw him score, and it was like we were down 3-0 with like 2 minutes left. Like that's when you
tell
scored.
the kids you saw Nick Bukestad score.
Yeah, that's history. That's right. Historic, unlike the Steelers' historic.
Speaking of history, I don't know. So Josh, you didn't put this up live. We've had no fan response, or we have. I'm sorry.
No, we're not live. We're live to tape.
Okay. No, because if there's any reason to break up the fourth line, it's tonight. My boy.
Boko time.
Boko Imama should be taking the interstate down to the spectrum.
As much as Joe, as much as you already like Dan Muse, I think you would like it if he pulled off a move from the end of Slapshot when they just got every ex-con in the league to sign just for this game to take care of business. And now we have to hate Rick Tocchet for the next 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
I know those are the rules. I get it. I respect it. It will be the first time we see Talk behind the Flyers bench.
It's gonna be sickening.
We always feared this night.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it was always coming. One of my favorite people in the world. He is the coach of the enemy now. I know. The Flyers are not off to a great start, by the way. This is the second night and first back-to-back for the Penguins this season. So we'll see how they handle it. But the Flyers aren't very good. This is a real chance for the Penguins to bank another couple of points, I would think.
They're not a good team,
Not
but
awful,
they have Hathaway and they have Delorier to back up his BS.
That's right.
That's the problem with the Flyers is Hathaway, and he has a bodyguard.
National televised game, they'll try something. So it'll be something to keep an eye on for sure.
And, just leave it to Penguins Jesus. His account said this morning, I can't put into words to you how much I hate the Philadelphia Flyers. So if you don't follow him, you got to, because if the Lord says it, you got to run with it. So let's get 2 points. Hopefully by the time you're listening to this, the Penguins are 2 points richer, and they're 8-1-2. And then
It's a big weekend, Corey.
They're
it's a big
8-2-1
couple here because I don't like our chances in Winnipeg. We never seem to play well there.
Right.
But we got to win tonight. Just F the Flyers. I mean, if we only won 6 games a year, as long as they're against Philly,
well,
I'm fine with the season.
That's big. It's a tough trip afterwards. Minnesota's struggling, but still a pretty good team. Then at Winnipeg and at Toronto, where the Penguins don't always play great either. So it's a pretty tough trip. This is probably the easiest leg of the trip, even though it's the second night of a back-to-back. So very interesting week for the Penguins to see if they can maintain this. It's they've got everybody's attention at this point. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for us on the show here. We appreciate you, as always. Go to twofortalking.com. Joe's got some articles there. I started posting some more stuff there.
Go see Joe at the Improv on Thursday.
Yeah, and go
I
check
think I'm
out...
going to come, too, so why not? I mean,
that'll be some, I'll bring you on stage with a little Q&A.
I'm all for it.
I hopefully it's why the hell didn't we bring Boko Imama off Kindle's at 9 months?
Oh, yeah. That would be worst case scenario.
I'm nightmares right now thinking of that.
So check out Joe. Go to improv.com. You can get tickets there Thursday night, October 30th, I believe 7 p.m. So go watch Joe do some comedy, talk hockey with him afterwards, and we will